Llamas, guanacos, and alpacas are inhabitants of the mountains of South America. These very distant relatives of camels have neither humps nor huge dimensions. But at the same time, the ungulates look like some kind of an alien with their big, intelligent eyes, fleshy lips, and long necks. They look harmless, quiet animals, especially since local peoples centuries or even millennia ago domesticated some species of these herbivores and used them instead of horses. But do not underestimate them. These herbivores are great fighters. When this mountain lion attacked the guanaco, he immediately realized how much he had made a mistake. For a cat to be on the back of a victim's neck is already half the victory. It remains only to fill up the prey, get to the throat, and that's it, you can start eating. Well, this time, with the start of the battle against the llama, the adventures of the cougar have just begun. The herbivores seem to explode with energy and aggression, and the real rodeo begins. It seems that the puma is shocked by this development. The guanaco caused a real little earthquake here. It jumps from side to side, makes maximum altitude jumps, sharp jerks. It seems that it deliberately loses its balance in order to regain balance at the last moment, and the cougar was blown a little more to the side. The herbivore strikes the cougar many times with its own body, beats the predator so that it becomes a pity, and this is practically without the help of hooves. The cougar realizes too late that if it breaks, then such an aggressive animal will not just run away, but trample it and crush its skull with its hooves. It seems that the mountain lion is already in danger. We've gotta pay tribute to him. He is also a seasoned inhabitant of mountain ranges. Therefore, despite the risks, the cougar jumps on the victim's back again and again after each crushing fall. But the ungulate is too strong. The guanaco throws off the tired predator and breaks away from the case. However, this is not always the case. If the cougar can get to the ungulate's trachea, it will overwhelm the victim even 3 times larger than itself. The main thing is to get her off balance. The birds that live in the mountains are among the strongest and most enduring in the world. And some of the biggest ones. Just look at how a mountain eagle attacks a goat that is several times more massive. This is the golden eagle, which is rightfully considered one of the most powerful birds in the world. They live up so high in the Rocky Mountains that there are almost no trees there. This allows golden eagles to use original hunting tactics because their victims have no natural cover. The birds attack the prey in low-level flight, knock it down with a blow, but do not finish it off during a struggle on the ground, but rise up with it into the sky. To defeat such a serious opponent as a large ungulate, for example, the bird throws its prey off of a cliff. After that, even if the ungulate remains alive, it is not difficult for it to finish it off. If it wasn't possible to drop into the abyss, then the golden eagle can continue the attack on the ground. His own strength is enough to handle a young ungulate, even if it is much heavier. In some cases, the golden eagle raises its prey really high. Then all that remains is to let go, and gravity does the rest. But if the slope is gentle and the prey is especially heavy, the bird uses a different hunting tactic. It knocks the victim down, and together, predator and prey, they roll head over heels down the slope. During this, the prey receives a lot of damage due to impacts on rocks, and at the same time, the eagle constantly works with its claws, hits the back and head, targets the neck and paws. A golden eagle strike is a combination of the power of a ramming attack and penetrating stabbing wounds from its claws. It's hard to resist this. Due to the acceleration, the force of such an impact increases significantly and resembles a collision with a small car. And the claws not only grab steeper than the jaws of a bulldog, but also cause damage to internal organs. With luck, the golden eagle can break the victim's neck or spine right during the first attack. And even if the victim avoids such damage, survives, and continues to resist, she will consistently lose strength due to injuries. The bird uses its beak only at the final stage of hunting, when all that remains is to finish off the defeated and almost immobilized prey. However, you should not think that this tactic wields 100% results. You've already seen that really cool animals live in the mountains. And the herbivores here are not at all as shy as they are somewhere in the lowlands. When this golden eagle decided to knock down a mountain goat and drag it over sharp rocks, he did not take into account who he was dealing with. The ungulate turned out to be much too nimble. It fell, but managed to use its momentum to get to its feet. The golden eagle did not give up at this point either. This is a battle of worthy opponents. The huge bird uses its wings as a balance beam to get on top every single time. She threw the enemy into the ground again and again. They fell, tumbled. The goat received blow after blow, but at the same time managed not to only save his life and whole limbs, but to also crush the bird several times. For all its size, the golden eagle is much lighter than a goat. At this speed, the ungulate almost crushed the golden eagle several times. The bird is in shock. 1 minute she's on top, clutching the enemy's back with her claws, and suddenly he falls on her, presses down with his whole carcass, and then turns over and hits his head on a stone. It could not have lasted long, but the goat was saved by its cunning. He timed the moment correctly and allowed the golden eagle to rise above him, so that at the same time the next somersault he would hit the bird's head on a stone, and then slam it back there with his own body. Surprisingly, it seems that the golden eagle is still intact. The prey escaped. It was not worth getting involved with such a clever and brave mountain goat. Are the power and wingspan of the golden eagle impressive? Then you will be even more shocked by this mountain bird. This Andean condor is the largest flying bird in the modern world. The wingspan of this feathered monster is over 10 feet long. For birds that fly really well, this is an absolute record. There are streets in the world narrower than the wingspan of a condor. The shadow from the wings of this bird can really cover up a car. And when a condor is on the ground, its head is about the same height as a human. At the same time, the Andean condor is also the heaviest bird capable of staying in the air for a long time. Although some swans and bustards may be heavier, they do not really fly very well. But the Andean condor, on the contrary, spends most of its life in the air. At the same time, to save energy, he plans more often than he actively moves his wing to move. The shape of these wings is ideal for planning. Wide, powerful, straight, with an expanding silhouette and large flight feathers. Such wings perfectly catch airflows. A condor can spend hours without making a single flap of its wings. It feels the wind so well. On the other hand, the huge mass for a bird and powerful but devoid of aerodynamic advantages, wings deprive the condor of speed. However, he does not need to move quickly. The condor usually feeds on carrion, which he looks out for on long trips over the Andes. The golden eagle gets lost next to the condor somehow, doesn't it? At the same time, you should not consider the condor just a scavenger. This bird is a great fighter. Too heavy for active hunting. However, it often engages in fights with terrestrial predators just to take away their prey. Do you see this giant? It's just a condor chick in front of you. There are cases in which a condor attacks a cougar and took away its freshly caught lunch. Wouldn't you agree that attacking a mountain lion to recapture its prey is a real feat? Even bears don't dare to do this, but the condor doesn't care. When his wings cover the valley, the animals can only run in different directions. When photos of this previously little-known cat began to appear on the internet more and more often, it caused a real furor. Isn't it cute? The size of the domestic cat, but very fluffy, long-haired with huge ears, expressive, curious eyes, and muscular, hard paws with large bare pads that hold a rounded body above the ground. Theories have arisen that a new breed of domestic cats has appeared. But then it became obvious that nope, this is not a pet, but a ninja cat who is a wild hunter. And do not underestimate this monster. In front of you is one of the most bloodthirsty, cruel, and strong representatives of small cats. And although he usually hunts small prey like rodents, even an MMA veteran would envy his combat experience. And all of this is because of the very specific behavior. A manul almost never retreats from danger and prefers an honest fight to flight. Although a manul himself does not like to be the first to start a fight with a larger opponent, in case of danger he doesn't really run away, but relies on disguise. Its long coat makes the manul almost invisible in the rocks, surrounded by rocks, ledges, and gray sands. Therefore, if there is an enemy nearby, the manul freezes. But if the opponent turned out to be attentive and noticed the manula, the cat still does not run, it fights. So, reports that the manul is a breed of domestic cat are wrong. The aggressive, unsociable, and introverted nature of this cat makes it absolutely unsuitable for keeping at home. The manul is not tamed. The cat's fighting tactics are special. If many other predators do everything they can to protect their stomachs, then the manul, on the contrary, lies down directly on its back. But this is not a clever maneuver. Everything is simpler. In this position, the manul can fight with all four paws at once. The enemy will regret getting involved with this mountain cat. Manul will use his claws to literally tear apart the opponent. There are no evasions, tricks, and elegant maneuvers. Only suffering awaits this enemy. If the manul is angered, he will want to inflict maximum pain on the enemy. Manul's claws cannot cause fatal damage to large enemies, but damage to soft tissues, opening up muscles and skin, weaken and will make any opponent cool his ardor. At the same time, manul does not seem to know when to stop. If the enemy is already ready to retreat, it seems to only provoke the cat, which was just defending itself a couple of minutes ago. The manul will crush the enemy, bring him to a stampede, and also add fangs to his arsenal. In terms of rage, only a honey badger or a wolverine can be compared to a manul. However, who knows? Perhaps these robbers are lucky that their habitat does not coincide with the places of a manul's life. When the crocodile bit the elephant's trunk, he clearly did not realize that he was making the biggest mistake of his life. The enraged giant picked up the reptile and hid it on the surface of the water. And then, he started trampling. One of the most epic battles involving rhinos that caught the camera lens ever. These lions decided to attack a heavyweight that could reach a weight of about 3 tons. And it must be admitted that the predators took the matter seriously. They assembled a combat group of experienced and seasoned hunters. Such numerical superiority could help the lionesses deal with another rhinoceros, but not with this particular individual, which turned out to be much more daring than the predators thought. The lionesses circled next to the rhinoceros and deliberately exhausted it. They squeezed the ring, swooped in on the enemy, attacked him again and again, but at the same time carefully immediately retreating when the enraged beast began to fight back. Experienced hunters wanted to make a massive enemy chase them. Then the rhinoceros would get tired, run out of strength, and go on the defensive. That would be the end of the battle. No matter how powerful the armor is, if you do not attack the enemy in response, sooner or later he will achieve his goal. Apparently, the rhinoceros understood this. Pay attention to his endurance. He furiously attacks the lionesses, but does not allow himself to be carried away. Stop as soon as he realizes that he will not reach his enemies at all. He doesn't panic. He doesn't fuss. Every punch and throw is verified. The rhinoceros pays attention only to those lionesses who come close enough to attack, and does not pay attention to the environment at all. No fuss. This is what saves the giant. Although he does not have a sharp horn, his ramming blow can break all the ribs of a lioness and crumple internal organs into a cake. When the hunter realizes that the rhinoceros is getting closer to them, and the hunter themselves begin to get tired, they have to retreat. The rhinoceros withstood the siege of an entire pride of lions, and he probably remembered these cats. Look at how another family of rhinos attacked a lion peacefully resting after lunch. Probably experienced herbivores know who they are dealing with and want to drive predators away. The lions needlessly angered such opponents. When this seagull managed to find a group of emperor penguin chicks that had strayed from adults, It was a real feast for the bird of prey. This chick is very, very large. Probably much larger than the predator itself, but it's very much practically helpless. They huddle together and try to cover each other up. But the heart of the seagull is as cold as the climate in Antarctica. A ruthless bird of prey attacks the chicks, swoops on them, and grabs one of them with a strong beak. The massive chick resists, but is unable to give a decent rebuff due to the difference in strength. And there are adult emperor penguins nearby. They are all in the sea, hunting fish. The chick has no chance. But not all heroes wear capes. The lone penguin was passing nearby. Just look, it's such a funny feathered little baby with an elongated beak and round eyes. Even an adult penguin is smaller than a baby emperor penguin. That's just a brave heart beating in the baby's body. And the Adelies hate the Pomeranians, so the penguin bravely rushes at the seagull and takes away its prey. The Pomeranian is shocked. Wolves are one of the most effective predators. Each animal alone has great strength and developed hunting skills, and teamwork increases the chances of catching prey even more. If 3 wolves can take down a huge deer or even an elk, then how can an ordinary otter give them at least some resistance? It turns out it can. The predators clearly underestimated this incredibly agile opponent. The otter was far from the water, not in a winning position at all. But she does not give up and desperately resists. Thanks to its amazing flexibility, every time the wolf tried to grab the otter, it twisted and clung with its small but sharp fangs to the enemy right in the sensitive nose. It had happened several times. As soon as the wolf attacked, the otter immediately launched a counterattack. The rest of the wolves tried to grab the victim from different sides, stretch it out, and literally tear it apart. But the otter turned out to be more agile and flexible than some kind of snake. She dodged every throw on the run, moved with lightning speed, and seemed to flow between the enemy's paws like a living liquid. A little more, and dexterous predators would have been able to catch the otter, but the intelligent animal knew where it was running away to. In a moment before the enemy's fangs closed in on its throat, the otter dived into a deep snow hole. The den turned out to be suitable for a small animal, but too narrow for wolves. And in South America, there are giant otters that are capable of even more impressive feats. For example, here the otters gave battle to the jaguar. But this is the largest predatory cat of the New World and the 3rd largest panther in the world. But the otters were acting too smoothly. Against one, the jaguar would have been easily emerged victorious, but the whole pack was able to show the spotted aggressor that they should not have to be messed with. A large otter the length of a lynx's body, armed with very sharp teeth and great speed, is able to pat its very beautiful hide. Jaguars understand this. He tries to intimidate the pack so that he can rush into the water and attack one of them, snatch it out, and take it to the land. But the otters are fighting back against the jaguar in real formation. He realizes that if he throws himself into the water, several otters will immediately attack him from all sides and drown him, and the jaguar retreats. And even one giant otter can overcome a small anaconda. Still, dexterity and resourcefulness play no less of a role for animals in combat than straightforward physical strength. These young cheetahs don't know who they're messing with just yet. Neither 2 of them, nor even 5 of them, would have defeated an adult rhinoceros, which can easily turn over a car with a couple of powerful blows of its horn. But the young predators do not understand which Terminator is in front of them. Well, okay, they'll understand now. The rhinoceros is even slightly surprised by the impudence of cats and will gladly teach them a lesson. Just now, he was a slow, almost motionless hulk that gave the impression of sleeping and too heavy monster. The cheetahs thought that they could sneak up and pounce and bite into his throat. It turned out that this small mountain not only has legs, but is also able to move them very well. The rhinoceros took such acceleration from the spot like a knight's horse, and went to a similar ram attack to sweep the predators out of the way. the rhino doesn't even seem to be trying to finish them off. If they get under their feet, he will break all of their bones, and if they manage to escape, it's also good. They'll remember who it's best not to mess with in savannah. The mountain lion is one of the most dangerous and toughest predators of the New World. Although it belongs to small cats because of the structure of the larynx, it surpasses even a leopard in size. When this guanaco noticed the leap of the mountain lion, it was already too late to dodge, and the predator managed to jump on the back of the ungulate. And the herbivore's problems did not end there. It turned out that this is a mature female who trains teenage kittens. They have little experience, but they already have the strength. The guanaco was surrounded by 4 predators. What should I do in such a situation? Well, for the inhabitants of the prairies, the answer is obvious: to arrange a rodeo. The guanaco only seems clumsy because of its long neck and slender legs combined with a barrel-shaped torso. In fact, this horse has incredible endurance and knows how to keep a furious pace. The cougar is in shock. She didn't know who she was messing with. Her kittens are trying to come to the rescue, but they only risk getting hooves on the head in vain. Just wait a minute. It seems that we don't know what kind of rhythm the guanaco has got. Yes, this is a real redneck dance. To such a groovy rhythm, the guanaco famously throws the cougar off its back and literally jumps out of the paws of 3 of its kittens. Just look at how well the predators work. The life of the guanaco hangs in the balance, but its speed and reaction save the ungulate, which managed to gain speed and break away from the mountain lions.